Well, congratulate Conservative MP Matt Genereux, who joins us. Matt, thanks for calling this morning. Appreciate your time.
No, thanks so much. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, so really interesting, and congratulations. You managed to get a private member's bill passed. It's now law in Canada. Just tell us what the bill is, the Compassionate Bereavement Leave Bill. Just explain what this means for Canadians now.
Yeah, in a minority parliament, nonetheless, it's been a bit of a process and bit of a fight. Maybe a bit dramatic of a word, but it's certainly been a long haul. So the bill, we've been working at it for since the length of this parliament, but goes back to my provincial days too, about just expanding bereavement leave. So right now, if Canadians go to take bereavement leave, they get essentially 72 hours paid and 5 days of leave. We've expanded that now to 2 weeks of leave, and it's once it gets that royal assent stamp of approval, it for every federal regulated employee, which is about 18,500 employers, will be able to take advantage of this.
You know, you mentioned, and I think it's probably an interesting discussion in terms of how something like this becomes law, especially in the current climate and the fact that you're, not in government, let alone a minority government. Just tell us the kind of work that's gone into this and the process that you've been through in order to get to this point.
Yeah, it's less than 2% of our members' bills actually become law. So it's been a uphill battle we had kind of from the start. Was able to pass our private members' bill provincially, so kind of knew some of the steps, if you will. But then at the federal level, you also have to get through the Senate after you've gotten through the House of Commons. So it was really outreach through a bunch of stakeholders, but also through a lot of my colleagues from all sides of the aisle. And we had a really great asset in Senator Paula Simons, who many of your listeners will know, is here from Edmonton, who just really championed this with her colleagues to help make it a priority in the Senate too. We got through the House of Commons, but then we needed. My hands were tied once we got to the Senate, so she was able to help push us across the finish line there.
And like you say, a lot of stakeholders, a lot of different groups were on board and helping you every step of the way, right?
Yeah, Canadian Cancer Society, the Canadian Grief Alliance, Heart and Stroke Foundation, MS Society, so many, and also a lot of local supporters who would send our office letters or emails about what this would mean to them, and to be able to share those stories in the House of Commons and to share those stories at parliamentary committee, I think really went a long way to get every one of my colleagues support. And it's really remarkable. We didn't have a single person throughout all the stages, which is about 10 or 12 different votes happened, that we didn't have a single person vote against this bill throughout the process, which again just kind of really reiterates that stakeholder support and outreach that we had to help make this reality.
Hey, Matt, last one before I let you go here. Why did this become your cause? Why was this something you felt so passionate about and something that you spent so much time and effort pushing through?
Yeah, I've shared the story a lot at times about my grandma, but I never tire of it because she really is the inspiration for this. I remember being fresh out of university, got my first job, and was then faced with my grandma was told she has a couple weeks left to live, and was faced with the decision to go spend time with her or to compete in a highly competitive industry at the time to keep my job, and I ended up making the decision, which I regret to this day, to stay at my employer, and ultimately didn't get the chance to say goodbye to Grandma. So we passed the Compassionate Leave Bill provincially, which allowed that time ahead of the death of a loved one, but then to think of all the things that happen after the death, whether it's funeral planning, whether it's taking care of selling a home or banking concerns, or just ultimately grieve after a loved one's death. It really is a time of your life that you hope that you have that extra opportunity to spend with your loved ones, and that's ultimately what we wanted to do, is make sure that Canada remains a compassionate country, and we took one step closer to doing that yesterday. Yeah,
and a couple of our listeners, just to clarify this, this is for federal employees. That's what this bill focuses on.
Yeah, so once you pass a federal change to the Canada Labour Code, our Library of Parliament researchers tell us about 96% of the time through the history of Canada, other provinces adopt that. So you essentially set the standard nationally for then the provinces to get on board to do that. So that's the next step. We're off already lobbying some of the ministers across the country to make sure that they make this change. So all employees are able to take this leave like this.
All right, Matt. Congratulations and thank you for joining us this morning. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, Jay. Really appreciate it. Take care.
That is Matt Genereux, who is an Edmonton area MP, a Conservative MP for Edmonton Riverbend is the name of the riding. And he's been working on this tirelessly for a long, long time.